I chose to become a philosopher because I simply just wanted to say my perspective and get paid for it. I wanted that as a job and position. I thought that I had a unique perspective on things. I think that um, what I had to say may not be helpful, but a bit interesting. Why did I come to that conclusion? It was just like I always seemed to be at odds with people. I always seemed to be in a different way of thinking, and it made me sad. Sure, it made me happy that I was unique, but I was sad because being so unique isn't really as great as everyone thinks it is. I watched people fake being unique, where I've struggled my entire life to be um, an everyman, a part of everybody, and yet failed. On days that I felt great, I had felt this overwhelming urge to cry, and I knew why. I know answers to problems, and yet failed to have the ability to fix it. I had tried my best to communicate and articulate to individuals my problems. And when I succeeded, I realized that that wasn't going to resolve the problem. That it was just another challenge. That, yes, people could understand my issue, but did people feel enough for me to remedy that issue? That I had just joined a new tax bracket. That people are afraid, or at least I was afraid, just like them, to fall back down. But I asked myself, am I really able to pick myself up? I was afraid of being perceived. I still am. And I think that right now, even the most important part of that time is that I'm putting myself out there in hopes that it will change, or maybe one day that someone sees this and I can change the um, I can actually live or remind myself and not be so broken that I can come into a place to actually heal. While I'm currently healing, I'm saying that I can then be on the right trajectory to be seated in the right place, to be in the right position. The the x axis, the y axis, and the z all intersecting at the same time. Different perspectives and positions. I I think that it's hard saying the truth, not because one philosopher or something I've heard that the person who often speaks the truth is the most hated. But something that I've changed and realized that people that often speak the truth, they are treated with a level of indifference. For the opposite of love is not hate, as I said many times. They are left indifferent because no one really knows what to do with them. They are right, but it is the birth of something. No one knows what to do with a baby. What do you do with someone that is supposed to become great? You have to mold them. How do you mold them to be that person in the future? What actions do you do? I recognize that people are molded by the people around them, but if they were told that, let's say, that you were neighbors to LeBron James before he was a household name, what would you do differently? And what I recognize is that most people would probably be more positive to him. They would probably try to befriend him and give him things, but that would then lessen the fact that he would be the LeBron James that we know. That he might not have been an NBA superstar. Maybe he would have never joined. Maybe he would have just been a doctor or a lawyer or anything else. The truth is that being someone, being made by someone, doesn't necessarily always just entail the most positive of your aspects, but the negative ones as well. That great people become great uh, for a multitude of reasons. That I want to see how people can become great in the most in perceived positive aspects. How long does it take for a child to grow with love and affection and true reflection, with proper guidance and with resources? How long does it take for that child to grow into a great person? And can that consistently be replicated? While others sit there and say, well, just give them an abundance, or simply the rich or the privileged, or even um, showing them so much more love. I've seen both aspects of being just financially taken care of, but with no love. And I've been on the other aspect where I was loved or given such affection, but no resources. And neither really worked. Now, it ended up balancing me out for having both. But I realized it needs a balance, a combination. And it would have been uh, better at the same time. And now that I'm getting it at the same time, my body has been struggling for so long, adapting to having them both at the same time, because my body was used to overindulging in one and then overindulging in another. And while I was healing on one, I was indulging on the other. And as I'm indulging or healing in the other, I'm indulging on the one, and it just caused injury. It caused my body, like when my mind was healing, my body was working, and when my body was healing, my mind was working. But when my mind returned to a state, it was used to a body that was no longer there. When my body had returned to a mind that it didn't exist, it cowered. It was used to it being afraid and childish and not being able to do something, so it would hurt people because it didn't realize how strong it came. So I needed balance. And I needed balance. And when I came to these realizations, that's how my mind and body had worked for so long, that I had said that I want both at the same time. I needed it, because if I did not, I would this was punishment. This was suffering. No, not punishment, suffering. I guess you could say punishment, because maybe I asked for it at one time. But it made me realize and recognize within myself that I desperately wanted both. I wanted to be strong enough to have it all. And with that came the greatest pain. Years of neglect had shown up in my mind, body, and spirit, dreams. I had felt pain at the same time, emotional pain and grief. I had felt happiness and joy at the same time, and I became fearful. For I had grown used to one or the other. And having it at the same time, I felt like I was losing it. I was like, oh, I'm going to drain my luck. I can't keep this up. I'm going to fail. This is where I had failed. This is where the luck grows apart. I became superstitious. I had put myself in the punishment of God, of a deity that didn't exist, and this is where the Lucifer had come in for my soul. I had begged and asked for punishment because I wasn't used to to feeling the pleasure. It made me feel grounded. It made me feel like I can then continue to have pleasure a different time. That I'll waste my prayers. That I only get so much, that they only recycle. I'd gotten used to punishment. And I guess that the truth is that I became scared. No, I was scared for so long. But I realized I didn't need to do that. I was just suffering. I was suffering, and I had to learn not to suffer anymore. That's a hard thing because that's suffering in itself. But it stopped being suffering when I knew that I had to stop suffering. And it became a pleasure, a goal, an aspiration. And when I stopped suffering as much, things became a little better. But it takes bits and pieces. It takes time to stop suffering. It takes time to stop beating yourself over the head, to see something sad and to accept it as sad, but nothing more. Not to pity people. I look at homeless people or even tragedies, and I see the logic behind it, how it could come to, so I don't disguise myself. And I still feel something, but only what I think that would be helpful to feel. I think politics often tries to make you feel a certain way, and when you don't, it makes you try to feel bad that you didn't feel this way. And when people try to tell me that I should feel bad or why I should, then I show them this is why I don't feel the same way. This is why I came to the conclusion. And people don't want to hear it. They only expect you to come to sad or praise. But this isn't the only thing that I can do here. That it's not so binary, yes or no. That, yes, it usually takes more time for the other emotions to settle, to become clear to you why you feel like this. That's why it always takes a bit more time for thought, because like you have to, it takes more time to ask 10 people than just 2. Yes, no, good, bad. But if you try to summon a council, it takes you a couple weeks, maybe even months, especially in emergencies. Hey, I just called on you. Hey, I'm still tired, or I'm still sad about something else. What I recognize is that I'm very efficient in calling everyone, all of my emotions. That I've grown with this talent to feel my emotions, to feel all of them, to allow them to breathe, till I have to cry, to whine, to complain, to feel overwhelmed or to want. And it's difficult. No, it's not difficult. I think it's difficult that to explain to people that that's how I live my life. That others see living the life of yes or no as efficient. And it can get them to high positions. And I say, yeah, it can get them to high positions because their thought process is a lot simpler. Their food consists of this and this, and I like full ranges. I ask myself, what do I feel like I'm in the mood for? Do I have the resources to try something different? Do I have the resources to try this and this? And I think that society is trying, or no, society has tried to make what I do both good and bad. They've tried to paint it as good for those that can obtain it and maintain it, but bad for those that cannot. And I say that if it is good for someone who can maintain it and obtain it, then it is society's job to make sure that it is plausible and feasible for anyone to obtain it. If it accepts that people cannot If governments rule and know or acknowledging that some things are not accessible to every person under its realm, then the government has to acknowledge every day that it's failing and what it's doing to overcome that. That we have grown in a day in a society or into a place that society should be intelligible enough to be able to explain everything. That your words should be able to satisfy a majority. That 51% should be able to understand and comprehend what you're saying. May not agree, but comprehend. But we're in a day of false comprehension, a time where you can say a lot of words and they mean nothing. They're shallow and pedantic, and they do not. They show a remarkable essence of futility. I don't think it's very interesting. I think that a lot of it is just boring. It's grown so boring because nothing is really that advanced. It's the same story over and over and over again. It is forcing people to be in this box into camaraderie. It is the fake PR. It is. I used to feel bad about like my reactions, why I stay indoors, why I don't typically go out, and it plagued me because like I was like, oh, I need to get rich to enjoy life, and then sometimes I would go out and walk, and I say, oh, I was being too hard on myself, and then I would go out and prove to myself because I would end up spending money needing tools and different things because of just, oh, I slightly forgot like a oversight, a simple oversight, or I didn't feel like it would be that costly for such a simple mistake, something that should be able to remedy pretty simply. That people with monetary resources, this wouldn't even be a problem. In fact, it could be a solution. Like if I forgot a towel before I go to the beach, it might be something that proves to be fun, or might find me a friend or a like-minded individual or a conversation because I went to the towel shop and I found a towel that I liked, and now I have something useful as memorabilia of the time or a place. So it works to my advantage. But as others, as it's made to be bad for poor people. Oh, you should have gotten a cheaper option. You should have already been prepared. You should got this off of Amazon. You could got it cheaper. You could have avoided having this conversation. And that's what bugs me. I say that it's so very in your face, so very boring, that I know that this is what is going to be said. That it's not that complex. That it's like, in fact, I'm wasting so much brain power wrapping my head around it because it's just boring. And yet I still talk about it because no one's really going to try to give me that true challenge. That true challenge. Let me see where my brain really stops. It's something that I choose or determine. Not can I don't want to run a lot of things. Like it's not that I am aiming to run a company that is already built. But I say give me the chance to build a company and see if I fail. See if someone could take messes and clean them up. Maybe I can see, like, I am not a position that maybe I'm someone that can build something, that could start something, but maybe I'm not the person to maintain it, or maybe I'm a maintainer, but I didn't necessarily start it. Like There are different possessions and positions. I've always been someone who had a knack for supporting, but there's also some times where I've been aggressive and took initiative. But this is not a place or a time where I feel like I can fully encapsulate in that life because I am too wary without any true protections or backings unless I'm already in those certified positions. That I find it that, especially in the political realm, I say that you wouldn't need all those protections if you had, if individuals had something to lose in the first place. That it's a self-made problem. That what I've always thought is like, if you are someone who lives within the community, is known within the community will not let you get touched because you're a prominent member of the community. You mean so much to the community. That the community is nosy. It's annoying. It is that is the price. It's always been the price of community. The price of community is annoyance because they're going to know things about you that you don't even know of yourself. There's always going to be a neighbor that looks out their window to look at your house. That if you have a beautiful house, people will gaze at it. If you have a beautiful lawn, people will gawk and admire and even try to replicate it. That if you have a beautiful wife, that people may try to hit on her. It is not it's annoying, sure. And in that community, respect needs because somebody trying to speak to your wife or trying to get at your wife is something that is unacceptable or unwanted. But the community will then correct that behavior, acknowledge that behavior, call it out, say, what are you doing? Why are you trying to hit on this guy's wife? You know she's married. You're weird. You're a weirdo. And it will be upsetting. And that person might come to realize, hey, maybe I do like those features or those types, or maybe I should leave the community. Maybe I should try to find those characteristics somewhere else. Maybe it's my time to leave. It's like, or saying, hey, the community's not protecting us. It's not protecting me or you. Maybe they're cool with this guy's behavior. Maybe we misjudge the community. It is for us to leave, me and my wife. All of it just being said, the community should look out for you. But if you're not loved or appreciated or wanted in a community, and they won't protect you, and you're bringing all this resources to be in the community, but isolate yourself within the community, make your own community, but also not really, then how good are you in the community? If you do not live in the community that you govern, how well are you actually at governing that community? And if you don't believe that your community has the capability of protecting you, how do you believe that the community is in protecting its those within that community? It always goes back into, do you even really believe in it? That if you build up the community, trust that the community will have your back, trust that the community will protect you, that you don't need to have those forces. You put it into the community sees that you're lacking in something and puts it together or demands that you do add these resources. A community that loves you will demand your own protection. But people don't believe in that because they know that they're not helping the community. The community doesn't know them. The community doesn't help a stranger. A stranger doesn't really help the community. But we have too many strangers that hold so many powers in communities. And we have too much, at least in my opinion, too many people that try to act as if we are in a community when we are not and I don't want to deny myself or delude myself any longer by saying that we are in a community, that we are a nation when we are not. That I want to have my name and title, that if you view me as such, you treat me as such, and you call it as such. And I leave accordingly. That I don't want people, I personally, I've seen a lot of rhetoric that says, oh, we do not talk about politics, it's so divisive, and people, will get mad. I say, yeah, of course, because politics is morality. That you hiding something essential about yourself to then, so I could just play your little game and not say something that I believe crucial about myself. So if something is upsetting me, I cannot speak to you about something that's upsetting me. If I can't go further, I can't be a part of the community. If the majority of the community believes in something I don't believe, then I say that I should leave the community. No, well, we like your presence. We like that you're there. No, you like the idea of me, but you don't like me. That if I'm not allowed to be me and fully live as myself, then I am not allowed in that community. That if I hesitate to say what I believe is true, even if it is wrong, or even at a moment that I'm not able to speak freely, and then come back to a conclusion, maybe, or hit with others' perspectives. If I can't, with time, acknowledging, and this is me saying that I put in the work. I put in the work. I go, I read, I listen to different perspectives. I truly, adamantly try to challenge myself, and then come to the community and say, based on this is my beliefs. This is how I came to them. And then the community recognizing and seeing, hey, let me test him. Did he adequately check himself? Okay, I think he adequately checked himself. This is what we believe. This is the community's belief. This is my personal perspective, and this is another person's personal perspective. This is another, and we're checking each other. And I say, I believe that you guys are wrong. And will you guys change? And if the community comes together, no, I don't think we're going to change. Then good, I leave the community. I say, I checked. I believe that it's not good for me to be here. I leave the community. But it's hard when you can't even talk to the community, when the community has shown such a vicious nature that it doesn't feel like it's safe to even come to the community and actually talk about those things. We don't talk about it. This is the way things are. That's it. Are you the whole community, or you're not? See, I think a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I say that community has cowardice. That's really what it is. That when you speaking the truth is not advantageous. That there's so much monetary gain to perception that I feel like I can't speak truly of how I feel or why I feel on a certain thing. That it feels more like I'm gossiping to gain connection. And something that I don't do is gossip. I don't like to whisper in someone's ears my true feelings and then note that the town truly feels like this, but we cannot admit it or say it out loud, or that it would hurt this person's feelings. I would rather go up to this person and say something that would hurt their feelings than continue to bury my own for someone I don't think I truly like. For if I don't care about hurting this person's feelings, if I don't care about this person at all, and I'm just there for the presentation so everyone else has something interesting to talk about, then I don't care about the people either. Because then we're all bad people. We're a town of thieves and liars. that we're in it for ourselves more than actual community. I think of myself more as that I do this for myself. I want a place where I can speak the truth and actually be given equal respondents to that. I can hear like I can feel the same sentiment. Like I don't have to die and then be like, oh, what he was saying had some truth to it, or what he is saying was at least interesting, or this was a perspective of this time. I don't. I simply need some sort of current engagement. I demand it. I demand a seat to look face to face. I think that I've gotten too old to really, and everyone has acknowledged that I've gotten too old to really be sunned. I can't be a kid, even though I really want to. No, I don't really want to, but even though there was a time where I really wanted to, that I'm a little bit too old to be. Okay, I'm not knowledgeable. I'm intermediate at best. I cannot be labeled an amateur. I cannot be in that amateur ranking. So what are the qualifying for pros? Am I really as intermediate? Am I really as amateur? Am I really as bad? Tell me what it really is, what it requires, and let me decide if I can, with an actual list of what the true qualifications are, not just a list of okay, to be a state representative or a senator, you have to be 30 years old and of this state for this long and a U.S. citizen, and that's the only requirements. That's not lie anymore. I feel like so many things are outdated that it just goes, what are the real requirements? What would actually make me a promising contender? Is it a bachelor's? Is it a master's? Do I need to, like, what would make me contend versus someone who already has financial backing? Is there something for someone in a lower position? How do people of lower position often get there? How do people before? I think we need to disclose how people have run campaigns because it's not even for me to break the rules and go against. I'm just like I'm genuinely. I don't want to keep diving into weird puddles and clicking links or listening to conspiracy theories. Like if it's just not feasible, I'd rather it say, bro, just don't try. Just don't try. Okay. I get it. We have a whole degree political science. I thought about being a political science major until I recognize that I'm scared of politics. I'm getting a minor in it, but I understand it. I think pretty well. No, I think pretty well. But if I said I want to go into politics, I would then have to just like be somebody's lapdog. I would have to, prove myself like viable. I don't know. It's just like it feels like a lot of work just to then get into a position and do like maybe one or two bits of change, and then I have to fulfill all the promises. It's just like I got to take a loan out. I got to constantly take a loan out to take a loan out to take a loan out, and then I get the money, and then I have to pay all those people back, and then the interest is too high that no matter even if I financially pay it back, I'm left with nothing. Like I lived my life as a pawn, a tool, a puppet. That I sold books and yeah, I got money and I'm drinking tea, but I look old. I look disheveled. I am someone's arch nemesis that I've never met. That I can't really walk down the streets of my old homes. Like I have to give up so much to put all my eggs in the present and say, oh, well, it's going to be good. But no, it's not. I think about, I truly think about Obama's kids. And I say, man, their life has to suck. They can't be just regular people. Like, people are always sniffing around their worst moments. Like, yeah, people forget about them, but then as soon as they're even acknowledged, it is linking to someone else. That you could do good, you could do bad, but you'll never do better than your famous father, your famous mother. That you have to eventually succumb and go into that position of, and you gotta hope to beat them. You have to put so much more work to surpass them. And what does it even mean to surpass them? Because it doesn't mean truly surpassing them. It just means the perspective of surpassing them. It means you have to do something more than what they are doing. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to mess up, to become more notorious. Like, yes, you could possibly live a regular life, but that's years of what is a regular life. To act as if you don't have these resources, to grow up not truly understanding the joke. And to you're going to even when healing and doing better, you're going to say something way out of touch that makes eyes stare at you and recognize that you were there once you were in a place, a position of privilege, and you had to walk away from it. You got to walk away from it. Yes and no at the same time. That's pain that most won't be able to really recover from. Like, they could be bad people, but were they always destined to be bad people? It felt like it was a trajectory, that everything that they do will be in the line and the lens of scrutiny. That people would advocate for you at your worst moments, not because they're truly your friends, but because they're trying to advocate for themselves. If they get in that position, if they come close to that position, that they would want to out or away or something like that. They would want their kids to be free in that way. And that sounds great, but it doesn't mean that they see you. That means they see the position that you're in and are just being, just setting it up. They're using you. And you know this. But no one cares about you. No one cares exactly about your predicament, the inner workings, to listen to your story. And you know that if you tell your story, that people would pick up the book, they would read few words on the page, and then they would act as if they truly understood. Like they knew every word and exactly how they said it, but you would know that they wouldn't, because they never really were to talk to you or to ask you why you had said this. You would see them more confidently get ready for a letter on or how they are going to become famous from this, or how they're going to be viewed in proximity. But your words would then just go into the bookshelves of others. That people feel important or want to feel important, and using your life as a way of imagining or falsifying their own delusions. I feel bad for their daughters. That people will be with them or be attracted to them, that they have to hide a part of themselves. I don't know them. Maybe they live good lives. But one would have to think, or at least I think, that maybe they do live good lives. maybe a pain that I don't understand and I truly can't comprehend. I don't know. I feel until if I ever met them, I'd feel like I would understand the basis of why I feel this way. Maybe I would just have overthought, or maybe I'm putting it to the wrong person. I sit there and truly think of that, but I don't know. I go into life and I just think that what is it all worth? Like why do I speak the way that I do? I even ask myself why I even want the wealth. And I don't want the wealth, I want stability. And I don't know how to get that stability because like I'm afraid of the hate that I would get. I'm afraid that my words will get washed away and no one will remember it. But in that, I've experienced such great love, and I say that no one's going to forget my words because the person that I care about, or at least, I'm not saying no one, but the person that I care for the most has heard my words. That's why I can say this with a little bit more ability, free range. That I don't need to fix the world, I need to fix myself. My ability to speak and to feel that I just want a little bit more. I feel like I shouldn't have to overdo it to get, like I could be a little bit more precise. That I can accurately measure what I need in my life. That I feel like I understand it, I get it. And some things I don't. Some things I don't. But I don't know. I feel like writing a couple books, sitting at home, um, fixing some things in my life, going into the work field, and then saying like, yeah, you know what, let me see how this goes. And then when I feel like I'm truly bored or done with it, I stop. And I say, let me go do something else. Let me see if I can grow some efficiency or some knowledge or some skills. And why do that? Why do something different? To prove to others that it can be done. That you don't have to stay relatively in the same place. That you can entertain your mind and your body and still do services. That yes, there are people that are skilled in one thing and remain skilled in one thing, but I am not particularly skilled at one thing. I'm not really good at anything in particular. I'm not the most controversial. I'm not the most sexually appealing. I'm not the most radical. I'm not anything really that special, and that's what makes me special. That I'm aware. Like I be like an anime protagonist. That I don't necessarily have to be stuck in one thing. And yes, I could like it, and then I can not like it. But the only reason that being mediocre is bad is because like I'm not allowed to be mediocre in other places. I want to be mediocre in construction and engineering and dancing and singing. And I want to see how truly mediocre am I. Something I have to be kind of good in. But if I have no avenue to get into any position that isn't just considered hard labor, because it's like I can do essentially the same jobs over and over again. Oh, I'm a grocery store worker, I'm a stacker, or I'm a meat cutter. I'm like, those are different jobs that require different sets of skills, but like I still have to kind of do the same structure of the job. Like I still like maybe I'm just not good at customer service. Maybe that's just like the synopsis. How do I do good in an office job or paperwork? Yeah, like and I think it's even changing the structures of how it's done. I like working at home. I like doing stuff at home and then going out and going somewhere else. I think that some of the worst parts of major cities is just the pretending that I'm doing something worthwhile that I couldn't just do at home. To be in an office desk or a cubicle. I would rather take my kid to an office to get them to the highest floor and just like sit there and lounge at the highest spot and tell them, hey, you know, just talk to them in a high position, in an air conditioned room with a chair and tell them, look upon the world. We built this. It's like, why are we doing this? Why are we here? Maybe he'll ask them why. Maybe the view would be incredible, but maybe it wouldn't be a view that we share alone. Maybe it would be just something to be attracted by. People like going up heights. Just having a room just to talk to feel above it all. I would like that. I don't feel like I should work a job for 20 years just to get a view, just to be like, look, son, if you work for 40 years, or if you're in a prominent position where you can make money real quick or just have connections, you too can have this view. I can't anyone just have this view. Like, that's what I would do. If I owned a skyscraper, I would, or a really tall building, I don't know. It's just, I would just rent out the rooms just so people can see it or maybe live. I don't know. Like, I guess, like, they have high rises and things like that. But I think that sometimes just getting up, going there, walking around, engaging, fooling around, playing business. I would sit there in rooms and just say, hey, let's play office in an actual office. Let's engage. Maybe we can actually do some real work, but not feeling like everything is coming to its collapse at the end. I think that's what makes it wonderful. Not taking it so serious. I don't want to take it serious. I feel like if that's the very last bit of my life, I don't want to keep taking everything so serious to a structured form that it becomes boring. YouTube videos are boring. Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, all of it is just boring, structured and over dramatic, quick and to the point. It never really improves, never gets better. You never see it start, you never see it finish, you never see anything grow. And that's why I think that this generation hates children, because I feel like I'd have to rush that too. What else am I gonna do? I'm gonna sit there and say, sorry, son, you gotta hurry up. You gotta beat the competition. You gotta become Simone Biles. You gotta be a gymnast. You gotta be an athlete. You gotta be in Harvard or Yale or whatever. I don't even know what to tell my kids to aspire to be. Be the best in this one particular thing. Get multiple skills, but don't actually truly enjoy those. Do it to get things on your resume, even though someone's already born innately having those. Like, just be born in the right zip code. I don't know. It really just kind of removes the fun of it. And yeah, there should be fun to this. I think that sounds ridiculous, but there's no fun. There's no commentary. It's just stale. It's just boring. There's no humor to even be had. No grief to really, like. It's mockery. It's really just disturbing. Heck, I don't even get calls from people unless something truly horrendous has happened. I like the unseriousness of it. Someone calling you just because like a bird pooped on their head, or because they ate a bad cheeseburger. I don't know. I could sit there all day and talk about things that I would love. I think it just makes me feel relaxed. Like a voice that just calmly tells you really nice things, massages your shoulders, puts it down. I think like real words relax me. I've always hated that ASMR where people would whisper and just try to force it, but I don't think that's really relaxing. I think what's relaxing is an honest, true voice, like an old man talking to you, talking about nothing for hours and hours and hours. It just feels calm. Like at first, the story might be interesting and high voltage, and then the next it becomes raunchy, and then what's it called? You're starting to even reply or add something too because you can feel them slipping, and then you start to say something, and they start to nod off, and it feels good, like you just did something for them. Like you just made one day not feel like it's worthless. That's what I want. Days that just don't feel worthless. Days that I don't have to lie to myself and say that I did all of this and I got it. And I got this piece of paper and it was all worth it. Like I don't want to lie to myself. Ever since I've been with my girlfriend, I feel like I've had no days like that. But she's helped me see that it made me feel like all those days, none of them was worthless. She made me recognize within myself that none of my actions were wrong, that I'd done it for a reason, that I'm here for a reason, and that I want to aspire to change this so then it doesn't become useless. I stayed in my room because I was scared that I was not strong enough to take on the forces, or I felt that I would fail, and I was right. And she saw like, hey, yeah, I can see what you mean. I see your point. Okay, now that you've been acknowledged, what's the next step? Okay, how do I get stronger, or can I get stronger? What can I do? And what can I do became effectively a very important conversation. What can I do? And I think that really made my life feel so much better. What can I do? Sometimes I would sit for hours and to think, what can I do? And having the time to sit there and think, what can I do, has been incredible. Because sometimes I just eat, sometimes I sleep, and sometimes I go get a massage, or sometimes I see something that makes me incredibly happy, and I say that's what I did, and I don't feel necessarily that bad. And then I become aware that it's like of people's actions and pointing out when someone is being malicious and when someone is actually truly ignorant and why things continue. I just delve deep into my pattern recognition. And I would speak, if not just to myself, but to everywhere around me. And I would put it into my works and write it and do these. And I would work out and I would, and I would talk to people. I realized I was good at talking to people. And I would think about people that I haven't met before, or times or positions or other things that may come to be. I think that's one of the most important things. That if I live, then it might come to be. And it would be really bad not to have it, even if it doesn't come to be. Like one of the greatest regrets that I had was I didn't take enough videos or pictures when I was younger of other things that I really, truly, deeply cared about. I had been so hung up on perception, but I don't necessarily hate myself for doing it. I realize like I have to keep my mind sharp to remember those things that I can't truly remember, and I have to speak about those things. So I never am able to forget that it always leads a line back to those memories. I miss my grandfather. I went to a meat market and I saw a light, a pink light that is in those meat counters. And I didn't think that it would trigger something, but it did. I didn't know until I was there staring at it that we had gone to something like that. And I remember how his hands felt, rough and big and meaty like a baseball mitt, strong. I miss my grandfather. And I forgot that I missed my grandfather. And I forgot that I wanted him to live to show him that the things that he had taught me and the way that he lived had passed down, and we are so much alike. And I wanted to know him more to see how much more things that I was like from him, how many things I've gotten from him. I'd love to talk to him. Maybe he was a ladies' man like myself, but he was a loyal man as well. I learned that from him. And I think just at the very end of his life, that I just wish that I wish that I got to know him more. But I had to accept the consequences of knowing him more. Maybe I wouldn't have liked him as much. And maybe that would have split us apart. But with that being said, I'm done.